Welcome to week 4. This week, we're talking about authenticity and academic integrity. And in regards to the instructional framework, we're looking at the principle of building trusting and caring relationships. And I think that by having really clear and transparent guidelines and policies for our students and their use of AI, that we can foster some of that. We can also build some community through student voice and having them be part of the creation of a policy, be it through a conversation with the class and deciding what is acceptable and what is not. But that's something to think about this week as you're learning. I'm trying to keep this week's video a little bit shorter than the last few weeks. So I'm not going to go through all of the resources that are here, but I do want everyone to make sure that they stop and look at this very first one from Matt Miller's book, AI for Educators. This graphic really gives a clear picture for me, or at least it was eye-opening for me when I was first thinking about like what is cheating and what is okay when it comes to how much AI a student is using. It just makes it really not black and white. There's tons of gray area. And having this conversation with your students or with your colleagues in your PLC might be a really good idea for kind of hashing through some of these thoughts and deciding where you personally are going to draw the line. As we think about what cheating is and is not, we also should think about how we can AI proof our classes and make our assessments more authentic. So, this video gives a really good explanation for how one teacher has changed her course. And also, there's some ideas below for kind of adding another layer to your assignments, especially if it's something that's primarily written. How do you add something to that makes it really hard for a student to just copy and paste AI generated content, right? Like, can they have an authentic audience? Can there be some kind of reflection aspect? Is it more of a project, or can the writing be part of the project? So, check out those ideas in that video. That I also want to highlight is that AI detectors do not work. They flat out are not 100% accurate. There is not a tool that will 100% definitively say this student used AI or this content is AI generated. It does not exist. So there's a few really interesting articles here that kind of explain why, and particularly our non-native English speakers are more at risk for being falsely accused of using AI when they indeed have written content themselves. And it goes on. I took a piece of one of the articles and put it down here because those AI detectors are measuring burstiness and perplexity. And I'm not talking about Perplexity AI, the tool that I introduced in week 1. I'm talking about the perplexity and burstiness in the language that you're using to write with. So that is really interesting to check out. And it goes with the video here as well. The extra resources tab has a lot of really interesting content this week too. There are these really cool little digital badges that you could share with students and use yourself to put on your human generated content. For where we get into examples of classroom AI policies, you're going to want to probably go to look at the assignment first for this week. So we had something due in week 2 that was a reflection. And in week 4, your assignment or your task is to create a temporary set of AI guidelines and a policy for your classroom. And you're going to want to go back and look at those examples to kind of help you get started. You're welcome to also use AI as much as you need to draft this policy and how you're going to communicate that with your students. There's also some help in how to co-create guidelines with your students as well. And that image from Matt Miller, like I shared in the beginning, is like pretty good conversation starter. So even though it's likely that we'll have something soon as a district, it's a good idea to put something in place either now or when we come back in January to kind of set the stage for your students and do some AI education with them so that they understand why they can't or how they can best use it to their advantage. You're definitely going to want to scroll down through the examples to check out this AI assessment scale. If you go to the blog here, he has a previous version. This was the first version that he made of this scale, and then he revised it to this version. So take a peek at those. They may inspire you a little bit. If you are an out of the classroom educator, like a counselor, there is an alternative assignment for this week as well. If you are not creating classroom policies, there are some other options here for you. All right. Lastly, you will share on the discussion board how you respond to these questions. And also, if you want to share a draft of your policy, please share with the community so we can help each other out on this. Have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you all soon.